Okay, this is learning the first four bars of the prelude from the Well-Tempered Clavier, Bach. Okay, your first chord. You may know the notes, so play them. Now, just go through and name the functions of every note. Well, that's the root, the major third, the fifth, the root, the major third. Okay, pretty good, yeah. All right, play those notes. Now, call off their functions. The minor seventh, which is just a step below the root. So D is the root. And the fifth, 1, 3, 5. The root, the minor third. And remember, the minor third is a step and a half. So you've got the minor seventh, a step below the root, and a minor third, which is above the root. So, and you can call it a D minor 7 chord, but I like to get away from numbers when we're talking about what kind of a chord this is. It's a minor chord. And the first one was a triad. You had C, E, and G, and that's it, 3 different notes. Here you have 4 different notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 different notes. Even though you have 5 notes there, but the D is duplicated. Okay, so one's a triad, we'll call this a quadrad. So it's a D minor quadrad. It's just another little term that I've tried to use. I don't know whether I like to or not. So if you call it a D minor 7 chord, not a problem. But if you want to stick with triad, then quadrad, I think that's sort of good. We'll see how that works out in the future. All right, now play the notes of the next chord. Well, all right, you got line, 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 so we're almost there. Put the B up here, and take the D out because it's already here. G, B, D, F. Okay, well, so you got the D chord. G. And G is the 5th note of the scale, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is dominant. So that's that Roman numeral. Then we have it as a dominant because from B to F, and let's bring that F down to here, B to F is a tritone, a whole step, a second whole step, and a third whole step. Or bring the B up to here. Whole step, whole step, whole step. It's a tritone. And that tritone is the characteristic interval of the dominant. And the dominant is supposed to have 2 different definitions, but you won't find them. You'll only find one definition. The dominant is the 5th note of any scale. That's the tonic, that's the dominant. Oh, if you go down 5 notes, it's the subdominant. But of course, then you also find the subdominant just under the dominant. These are terms that are just part of the language of music, so don't be too impressed by them or too intimidated by them. Okay, it's dominant and expressed with that symbol X. Okay, so you got them, and then back to the tonic, C major. Now, just to memorize those or to call off the functional names of these notes is fine, but we need to go a little bit beyond that and improvise a little bit. Can you do this and put it in different, positions? Well, let's say I'm playing the C, E, G, put C, E, G. See, this is the same as this. All you're doing is take the top 2 notes and put them on the bottom. There's your C, E, G. Okay, put the C, E, G. You can put the 3rd on the bottom. Now take the 3rd off of the top. That's sort of nice, isn't it? Put the G on the bottom part. Ooh, quite nice. Put the C on the top as a duplication. Nice, huh? So this is nice. That's quite nice. And this is also. Play that. First of all, this. Then this without, take the E out, put the G in the bottom, then put the C in the top. Okay. Now, you got the third on the bottom, now put the G, the fifth on the bottom. That's the root, the third, the fifth. Okay. Not much you can do about that. We'll do that in a minute. Okay, now, a 2 chord. There it is. Now, generally we had remember, the root on the bottom. Well, just put the root back on, that 7th back on the top. Now you can see that D, F, A, C. That's nice. Okay. Now, put the root on the bottom. Put this third. Not much you can do about it. It sounds good. It's all right. Sometimes you leave off the third here because you got it down here. That's entirely up to you. Do you want to add it? Do you not want to add it? See, that's your choice. And choice is actually improvisation. You make your choice at the time you're playing. And the 5th on the bottom, 1, 3, 5, and finally the 7th on the bottom. Those are your choices on your bottom note. So we can go from here to the D, or we can go from here, put the 3rd on the bottom. And then, now there's your 7th on the bottom, D, F. I've got the F, the minor 3rd, and then the G dominant, then C. Now, see if you can handle that. D, F. We don't have an A, do we? Well, you can take the D out and put the A down here. Or you can put it up here. D, F, A, C with this 7th on the bottom of this hand. So, now then you could come back down to a dominant, G, B, D, F, and a C major. These are just, suggestions. Now see, if you do this, you jump. There's nothing wrong with jumping, but if you can take it to the very next notes of the next chord, that would be really quite nice. That's sort of nice. Now, D, F, A, C, D, G is not really part of the chord, but it's 1, 2, 3, the 4th. Sometimes we call it the 11th. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So it's a D minor 11 chord. We've got the minor 7th and the minor 3rd. And then to the dominant, just duplicate the bottom, just keep it where it is. Not bad. See how the difference between a D minor and a G dominant. Then back to C. Now, there's the 3rd of the C major triad. Now go to the G if you want to go to A. Try it. That's a rather pretty chord, putting that G of the D minor. Remember G, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 3rd. There's the root, the 7th, the 3rd. Or just take it on up. And then go to a G dominant. And then to C major. Now, what else can we do? Well, we go to D minor. Keep it as an 11th chord, because that's what it really is. D minor 11 to a G dominant. Now I haven't changed any notes. Now D, F, there's no A. We've got the 4th, the 11th instead of the whether you one of those notes or not, it doesn't matter. Let's do that, and then let's go to the dominant without changing any of these notes. Nice, huh? What do we have? We've got a G4 chord, which is an 11 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We call it an 11th rather than the 4th. Then we got the 5th, we got the minor 7th, we got the 9th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then we can go back to the tonic. Do you like that with the cluster there? I think it's rather pretty. And that's your, and then you go back to re if you want to. Okay. The 5th. To the supertonic. That's more like a dominant though. And then to a tonic C major. Ooh, remember how we did that? Then we could do this or this. To a D minor. Put in the root there. See, this is okay except that's the 4 chord. An F major chord, F, A, C. Put that in there. And then the G dominant. Now if you keep this chord here, D minor to G dominant, well, you don't have the 3rd, but you got the 4th or the 11th. You got the 5th, the minor 7th, and the root. Yeah, those are sounds. Those are rather pretty. I don't want to make this like a theory lesson, but you've got choices here. Number 1, the root, the 5th, the 3rd, or the 5th as your bottom note. On your D minor 7th chord, you got 4 choices. Put the root on the bottom, the 3rd, the 5th, or the 7th. On the dominant, you've got the root, the 3rd, the 5th, or the 7th. See, I've kept these 3 notes and take the D on top. Those are your choices. Now, if we go again, there's C major. We don't need the 3rd. You can put it in the 9th. Let's see how that might sound. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this would be C major 9 chord. Go ahead and put in the 3rd. Remember I said a cluster sounds sort of nice? Go to the supertonic. D, F, A, C. And then the G dominant. Let's go on up to a G dominant. Now that's not a bad sound at all. It's sort of a modern sound. Now you can go to C major, or now end with the 3rd, your C major with the 3rd, but step down to that C major. Oh, isn't that a nice sound? Okay, C. Oh. So we can go from here to here. Now this is not the progression of the chords, but I'm just showing you C major or C major with 3rd on the bottom. Now G would be G, there's the minor 7th of G, and they're G, B, D, F, and then back to. So you're beginning to see how you can change these notes around to make really quite nice sounds. All right, let's try up here. Now let's see if we can make a progression going down. D minor, there it is, into G dominant, and keep these notes. 1, 5, minor 7, 9, 11. A G dominant 9, 11 chord. Oh my goodness, isn't that wonderful? And of course, if you want to duplicate this note and just bring the top note down, Isn't that nice? And then maybe up. When you do experiments like this, you're learning something about these chords. Now your basic progression is 1, 2, 5, 1. That's all it is. There's these four measures. 1, 2, 5, 1. But that doesn't sound like music. 1, 2, 5, 1. Now just in doing your right hand, that's sort of nice. 1, 1, 2, 5, 1. Or 1, 2, 5. Just keep it as a 5 and then to a 1. Without the root, can you put the root in the left hand? Well, the root's up there, I'm sorry. This is learning music by way of this Bach prelude. It's taking that progression 1, 2, 5, 1, which are your first four measures, and doing something interesting with it besides just this. How about this? How about this? Then how about adding something to get to the dominant? Ooh, that sounded like some music, didn't it? All I'm doing is 1, 2, 5, 1. 1, 2. See, I'm leaving off the third here because I got it down here. How about this? Remember I showed you this at the very beginning. 2, 5, 9, 11 to 1. 1, 2, 5. How about leaving off the 9, just going 11? And then taking this 11 down to 10, which is the third. And ooh, 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 isn't that nice? If you've not done this kind of thing before, you're going to have to give it a go. You may not be entirely successful, but if you do it and try it several times and listen to this video and get some inspiration from this video, from what I'm doing. The root on the bottom, the third on the bottom, the fifth on the bottom. It's all tonic, C, E, G. Now if you come up to the third, let the third go and put the root on as a doubling. Then we, from C, E, G to D, F, A, see the fifth, 1 and 5, C, G to D, A. And you got the third in the left hand. And to your G chord. Now isn't that a very pretty chord? It sort of wants you to do this, doesn't it? And then you got the minor. You don't have a G dominant yet, except G major. There's your G dominant, that minor seventh and the major third. When you improvise, you learn. If you can only do this and you can't do anything else, you're locked into the notes of the music. Learn from Bach by improvising on it and changing as much as possible, like there's more than one way to say something, musically as well as in the language, the English language or any other language. There's just more ways of saying things. This can be such a pleasure to do because you're making your own music based upon Bach's progression. Then when you come to this, then this may just mean something more to you. And that's what we want. There's your G dominant. And you got a third on the bottom. You got thirds, a second, a third, and back. Okay, now if you don't know intervals that well, I haven't made a video yet on intervals, but I just might do that. This is something for you to work on though, just as pure pleasure of improvising and taking these three chords, C major, D minor, and G dot, and see what you can do with them in changing them, doing them, and finding that, for instance. And then, ooh, I think that's such a pretty chord. And then this, which you have the 11th on top. This is getting to be a little bit advanced, but I don't think so. 11, you know. 1, 2, 3, 4. So from 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then you can take it right back down to C, or take it right, stay right where you're on stay on this. This is the root of 5, but then just go to C major with 5th on the bottom. So, work with it, enjoy it, make your own music. Talk to you later.